How's it going, film and TV fans? Welcome back to another review here on the Talbot Street Productions YouTube channel. Today we are taking a look at Ryan Coogler's brand new movie Sinners, which has been, going absolutely viral on the internet and has had the most positive reaction known to man at the moment. It's made history in terms of, I don't know if anyone's recently read the news that it received a cinema score, which no horror movie to date has ever received. Even things like Jaws and Get Out have only received like an A-. Sinners is the first horror movie to receive a cinema score. It had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes the last time I checked. I think, however, that's gone down a little bit, but it still has like 99% critic, 87% audience the last time I checked. It's doing incredibly well. From the critics standpoint. However, obviously, having Minecraft still be out at the moment means that some of that is being absorbed by Minecraft, unfortunately. But we're here to talk about Sinners. Sinners is a movie that I must admit I didn't see coming as much as I thought I would have. I remember seeing the trailers, everyone thinking it looked pretty good, and I was going to enjoy it. And I do have to admit, I love Ryan Coogler and everything he does. The guy is incredible. The guy is massively talented. He is just so great at what he does. I am yet to see Fruitvale Station, but I have seen everything else that he's directed. That being 2015's Creed, 2018's Black Panther, and 2018's Black Panther, and 2022's Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I really like the first Black Panther, and I really like Creed. Wakanda Forever is hit and miss. I do really want to watch Fruitvale Station now. I know that's the first movie that both him, Michael B. Jordan, and Ludwig Göransson all worked together on. So there's been a lot of comparisons between how far the three of them have come together as a creative collaboration, and that is a fantastic thing. And again, that collaboration is really hitting its peak here in Sinners with such perfect just creation of media here. I mean, honestly, some of the shots are so perfect. Again, it's important to note, as I'm sure you may have heard because it's been hammered home a lot in the marketing campaign, Sinners is shot on 70mm IMAX film. There's a fantastic video that Ryan Coogler did, which I believe is sponsored by Kodak, who supplied the film stock, where he literally breaks down all the different kinds of types of film you can get in terms of actual real film. And I'll be linking that in the description because it's such a great video. And I highly recommend anyone who is interested in the art making of film and how things shot on film work. That is a great video to watch. But shooting on film has always been a huge challenge, especially in recent years, and how much the industry and a lot of creatives and a lot of filmmakers are just so used to digital. Obviously, film has that thing where it will run out, whereas with digital, I mean, you can kind of go on for a long time, whereas physical film takes so much longer to actually go through. I will admit this review is going to kind of just be more talking about the film in general and how they made the film and things like that, because I'm so fascinated with that more than actually a review. I will discuss film later on, but I just want to break down how the film was made and how incredible that is that we're getting movies made like this still in 2025 and hopefully beyond. And obviously 70mm IMAX film is the best way to watch this film. Unfortunately, I was unable to see it in that film, but I did see it in the biggest screen in my local cinema, which was called an XL screen, so it was massive on the screen, and I know that I got at least the best possible way I could see the film, as close to where I live. But it's just that magicness. You can really feel how everyone cared behind the scenes. Like, they've all said very much that they knew this was going to cinemas. They knew it was going to be a big release. It's a big movie. And it's like, it's that kind of... I've seen a lot of people throw the expression around that Ryan Coogler's cashed his blank check on this movie. And if he has, what a way to fucking do it. Because, again, the movie is just absolutely undeniably incredible. I have spoken to several different people, and they've all said that while I have posted about it on my Instagram as well, that I believe the movie is an original film, and at least compared to everything else out at the moment, I think the film is still humbly is quite original, although I've seen a lot of people compare it, obviously it's a vampire movie, so there's a lot of those, and people compare it to things like From Dusk Till Dawn, and that's fair enough. Again, I have not seen From Dusk Till Dawn, so I can't comment, but In terms of like, sure, it's not the most original thing, but it's not based on IP, it's not a franchise film, it's not any of these things that are not guaranteed to make money, but are not, it's, in my opinion, I would define it as an original film because it's not based on pre-existing IP, it's a fresh, script, it's not based on a book, it's not based on anything previously, it's not a remake, it's not a sequel, it's original film with original characters and original storylines, while obviously taking some, inspiration from other vampire films. Obviously, when you're making a vampire film, you kind of can't escape that kind of thing, and obviously that's very obvious here, but it does have some parallels to other films. It just has such rich visuals to it as well. The cinematography is just, you can feel the film as well, and like the raw film that they shot on. And I've heard some of the cast and crew say that they could hear the film running out in the camera, and that they'd have to pause, have the camera be reloaded, and shoot again. And that must have been a really challenging yet still incredible experience to go through as people in this profession. And I love that about the film, that it has that big blockbuster feel that we saw 30, 40, 50 years ago with original films, whereas nowadays all your big blockbusters are franchise stuff and things like that. And that's what I think the movie really kind of shines on, in that it actually really not only has the incredibly fantastic ensemble cast of so many incredibly talented actors and actresses, not of course without having to talk about our leading man, Mr. Michael B. Jordan, who plays two characters here, Smoke and Stack, twins. There's a funny joke they make about that in the beginning of the film. But also, the rest of the cast as well, absolutely fantastic in every frame of the film there. So, Jack O'Connell, Lyndon Delroy, you've got the lady who is in Loki as well. Just an absolutely fantastic, incredible cast of characters. Not only through the cast of characters, but also for the performances as well, but the characters being brought to life so well. There's a very specific sequence that I know a lot of people point out as being one of the best sequences on film this year, and I 100% agree. It's a sequence towards the beginning of the film-ish, I think. Maybe, it's in the film, put it that way. And it's a sequence where they are in the barn that's seen in a lot of the marketing material, and they essentially go through music from the period of the film setting all the way through to now, and you see them blending these different styles of music and things like that, and it's such a fantastic sequence. And it ends with the actual barn setting on fire, and you see the roof on fire, and it's such a beautiful sequence that is so perfectly illustrated. It is almost one shot as well for the entire part, and you start seeing, you have someone with a rock guitar, you see a DJ set, you see bongos, all these kind of, and it mashes together so well. And I do hope that is most likely in part due to Ludwig Göransson's incredible talents as a musician, as a composer. He's also a producer on this film, so he not only obviously had a massive influence in the fact that the film has a huge section of it devoted to music. A lot of the plot is music based as well. So I can see why he is credited as a producer on this one. But obviously he composed the score, he produced the soundtrack album, he also helped produce a lot of the songs with one of the actors called, I believe it's Michael Canton. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But again, the music here is fantastic. Not only is Ludwig's score absolutely incredible, because it really, really is. I've been listening to it a lot recently, and it's really, really fantastic. But also the original songs as well, the soundtrack album, which came out day and date with the film, which I want to point out is quite an unusual thing, because a lot of Warner Brothers films have their soundtracks and scores come out a week before the film. But however, because I don't know why, and I don't know how, but because Sinners' soundtrack and score albums were handled by Sony, which blows my mind anyway, they came out day and date with the film. I don't understand why. Again, if you've watched previous videos I've made that have now been delisted, even if you see my Instagram post, you know how I feel about Warner Brothers, and I'm not particularly fond of them per se, and I never, again, this is one of those films where I think Warner Brothers did a great job actually promoting it. It's been everywhere all over the world at the moment, and I think it's just a fantastic example of how the marketing can it needs to be a lot but a little at the same time, because given the current competition that it has around it and upcoming things like that, it being the original film, whereas you still have Minecraft, which came before it, and you've got Thunderbolts in 2 weeks' time. So it's slapped back in the middle of two quite big blockbuster movies. And obviously, given that the fact, at least in the United Kingdom, the film was certificate 15, I believe it's probably an R in the States, given a lot of the content. It's obviously the reason why Warner Brothers at least felt happy enough to put it out just 2 weeks after Minecraft is because it's obviously the complete opposite in terms of target audiences. You have the Minecraft movie, which is like a PG family friendly movie, and then you have this super gory vampire horror film now. So I can understand from a business perspective why Warner Brothers put it here, but obviously Thunderbolts is going to catch its heels quite quickly in 2 weeks time. So I do hope that people go see it. Again, like I posted on Instagram, there's one thing you do this weekend or any time in the next few weeks is go and see the movie on the biggest screen possible. Again, 70mm IMAX is what you should be seeing it on. Go and check it out because it's a fantastic film. Again, Ryan Coogler and the team did a fantastic job in bringing this movie to life. It feels so rich with character and world building, and even the length isn't even an issue because it's 2 hours and 20 minutes, but it really doesn't feel like that. The story feels so perfectly rounded, perfectly connected. There's real humour to it as well. You know, it's not just a stupid, scary movie. It's one that, for me at least, from the outset, feels like it's genre hopping the whole time, and that's obviously not a negative thing. It's a very positive thing. It jumps from action to horror to comedy in the space of a few minutes. It's really funny, but it's also really powerful and dark, but twisted, morbid but enjoyable, and you have a real good time. It's because of that genre bending, I think, that left me coming out this cinema having such a good time at the film, because it did so much with all the genres it did. It didn't try to stay in one lane, or it didn't try to just do another genre because someone told them to, or because they thought it'd be a good marketing campaign. They did the other genres because they flowed so seamlessly into each other with this story so perfectly that they all just worked cohesively together. And I love that here, and I can't wait to see what Ryan Coogler does next. I can only imagine if this movie does well at the box office that he might get another blank check again. I doubt it, but you know, I just can't wait to see what the guy does next. I hope he does more original stuff, because while I do love Creed, I love Black Panther, I love all that stuff, it's really this, and I hope when I see Fruitvale Station I feel the same, that really Fruitvale Station put him on the map in the first place, and this is him coming back to that fold of original film that he has sorely, you know, obviously missed making so much. And I think, you know, it would be a shame if he gets siphoned with another Marvel project or another franchise again, because, you know, the guy is so good. And it even, you know, comes down to the fact that, like, one of the reasons why he shot on 70mm IMAX is because he had a conversation with Christopher Nolan. And Christopher Nolan is literally the IMAX guy, and obviously convinced him to shoot. They're only going to shoot bits of it on 70mm, and then, like, he convinced Coogler to shoot the whole thing on 70mm IMAX, and helped him get the 70mm IMAX and stuff as well. And he also credits Zack Snyder in the credits as well, which is interesting. So it's really great to see creatives supporting creatives and such. This film gives me faith in film again. It's something that in recent times, while there's been a lot of great movies and great stuff, there've always been indie stuff. It's always been A24, Neon, those guys putting out little indie films. This is a big blockbuster release from a big studio with a big marketing push. I think the budget was around $90 million. This is a big movie, yet it still feels just as indie as anything A24 has put out in the last 10 years, and it's just as good as anything that they've put out in the last 10 years as well. It's such a golden opportunity for cinema to actually take this film and learn that people will go and see big blockbuster original films at the cinema if you make them right and you give the creatives all the control. I know Mickey 17 was another recent example. I mean, obviously that was based on a book, but still, this point remains, Bong Joon-ho is an incredibly talented director. He did an incredible job with the film, but it has been known through several reports that Warner Brothers definitely did challenge him in terms of creative cuts and things like that, and obviously that film was delayed several times because of that, on top of the COVID-19 pandemic, of course. And I think that it's seeing these two films come out so quickly upon each other, and it's even funnier to mention Mickey 17 specifically, because back in the middle of last year, in about August last year, Warner Brothers announced that not even that, it was actually before that. No, actually it was last year. So initially Mickey 17 was supposed to come out last year, and then they pushed it to the date that Sinners came out on, April 18th, 2025. And then in December last year, they actually brought it forward to March and put Sinners in its original place. So, originally on April 18th, Mickey 17 was supposed to come out, but Sinners took its place when Mickey 17 got brought forward by Warner Brothers, which was nice. So, yeah, those two films kind of do have that symbiotic relationship because of that. But don't get me wrong, Sinners is the better film, without a shadow of a doubt. It really does give hope in this industry at the moment that is kind of struggling in so many regards, in so many different ways. And I think the best thing you can do to support film right now is to go and see this movie again on the biggest screen possible, because it is so magnificent. Again, the cinematography, the score, the music, the performances, the direction, the whole lot is so masterfully crafted, and it's masterfully crafted out of love as well, purely out of love for film, for the medium, the same love that I have for this medium as well. And you can see it on every single frame on the screen, is that this is clearly something that was crafted out of love. The only kind of, I'm not going to say cheap or anything like that, is towards the end there's a sequence that is clearly shot on a green screen, and it doesn't look the best. It doesn't look terrible, but it don't look great either. That's literally the only thing, and you only see it for like 3 minutes max, so it's not a big issue. But just go see the movie, please. Support original film, support cinema. Just go and enjoy yourself, have a laugh, go see the film, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for